Welcome back to another episode of the Dale Hollow Lake podcast, where we give you the down low on all things Dale Hollow. This week we have got the owner of the 1806 General Store, Gene, and then we've got Shannon here with us, which is with the Overton County Chamber of Commerce. I know it's a mouthful. You want to reintroduce yourself and tell them you can?
That's okay. You did a good job.
You did fine.
But so yeah, we're here at the 1806 General Market and our general store, and they've got an awesome layout here. They've got menu items. They've got pretty much a little museum. I mean, tons of photos of the town from a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah, early
years ago.
1900s. Yeah,
Mhm.
Early 1900s. The oldest picture I think is around 1896, but somewhere around the turn of the century.
So yeah, about 130, 140 years old, and if you want to tell them a little bit about your store and what you've got going on.
Sure. We've had we first started the antique market some 20-something years ago, and there was actually a small restaurant here. It started out as a tea room. And a couple ladies operated, and they had tuna fish sandwiches and tea, and that was about it. But it got to be, it was very popular, so a full-fledged restaurant opened up. The owners of the restaurant stayed here for about 20 years, and then they retired, and when they retired, this spot was empty. The emphasis of why we started a general store was that you couldn't go buy a Coke or a bag of chips on the square anywhere anymore, or an aspirin or anything like that. So we thought, well, if we have a little general store, we could do that. And so we did. That part of it came to be in our idea anyway. And then we thought, well, we'll add bologna sandwiches and do some crackers and bologna, that kind of thing. Well, it didn't turn out that way. After we started, it just grew and grew and grew. Until now we're a full-fledged restaurant of sorts. We carry the 1806 General Store. It carries boar's head meat, which is premium meat for sandwiches. Have a daily special every day that's very popular. We just started doing breakfast for the early birds, and we have the only place probably in the Upper Cumberland that you can get 25-cent coffee. We still have that, yeah. So you can have all you want for 25 cents. So. But it evolved into then we were looking at the amount of people that do come from Dale Hollow Lake and do come through, and of course, as y'all know, the lake has a tremendous history of repeat customers, of people coming over and over for years. Kids that came here in the 50s are now coming here with their kids and grandkids, and so it's a great reputation for the lake to have. But as they come, they also are looking for other things to do in the towns around the lake. And especially if you have a rainy week and you're on a houseboat, it's nice to get off the lake and maybe go do something. And then there are others that just want to go to the lake, and that's where they're going to
bypass the town.
And that's okay.
Here we've got downtown Livingston, which you can drive through, to go to Eastport Marina or Sunset Marina. But there's a bypass that goes to the town, and most people are going to take the bypass when going to, their vacation destination.
Right.
But they don't realize that Livingston's got an awesome little square.
Right.
Tons of places to eat. They've got, a bakery. Here, there's just tons of places people can stop, and it's not that far away. We're only about 25 or 30 minutes from Eastport, or probably about the same to Sunset,
and the same to Horse Creek as well. So any direction you go, it's about the same time.
Yeah, there's also Willow Grove and Mitchell Creek, I think, also aren't far at all either. So we really want to spread the word to people. I mean, just what great things are around the town, where they can do, because going on a week-long vacation, there's bound to be a down day or a lazy day where maybe you want to go explore. So we want to get the word out to people.
Well, one of the things that we've got going here is that, there are very few towns, small towns like this size, that has 100% of the properties on the square and lining the square are occupied. We have a lot of boutiques now, nice lady shops. We've got antique stores. We've got a little bit to offer, a little bit of everybody. something to offer everybody. And then, of course, you know, we pride ourselves on the general store concept of having a first-class food and service here as well. But you're right, you know, it is a bit of an issue with the bypass and people passing by, but so many people say that they didn't know it was here until they happened here.
Right,
So-
we've heard that many times.
So part of the Main Street project that Shannon mentioned is to get some more signage out on the bypass so that people would realize.
Pull people this
Oh, yeah.
direction.
Yeah, and I think we should really do that. So we'll put a clip in here. They've got some amazing pictures of what the square looked like back in the day. But how long has this building been here?
This building was built in 1937 by the Speck brothers. There were four brothers that got together and opened a hardware store. So they built the building, and the shelves that you see out front that are in the front entrance, those shelves were actually in the basement of this hardware store, and that's where they kept their parts. So we moved those shelves upstairs so that we could use them for our purposes. They still have the labels on them for the different parts, so you can't read them anymore, but they're there. So since 1937, this building serviced the square.
Okay. And when you look at these buildings from the outside, you don't realize how far back they go too.
Right.
I mean, they're very large buildings. But what are some of your what are your hours? Are they pretty consistent?
Yeah, right now we're in our summer hours. Summer hours we expand out. Right now we're open at 6:30 in the morning and close at 7 at night. So got a pretty good time span there. I don't know that we'll go beyond that as far as the nighttime opening, but the daytime breakfast it surprised us. It's been very good.
What's your number one breakfast item?
I would have to say it's probably the chocolate gravy and biscuits.
I don't think I've heard of it, but I've never had it. So I'll have to come back and get that
You
for sure.
will definitely have to do that.
It's definitely a regional food that's primarily here. And you know, you talk to people even in adjoining counties, and not a lot of people know what chocolate gravy is. But you can get chocolate gravy, you can get white gravy, which is sausage gravy. But we also have you know, biscuits with egg, ham, and cheese on them, bacon and cheese, whatever you might like. But it's definitely not fast food. It's not drive through the window and you get to come in and sit and relax and have 25-cent coffee. One of the new items we've added is the teas, which have gone over great, and we call them the magic teas. They're
really good.
They're very good. Yeah, very good, and they're extremely popular and very healthy. They have a lot of vitamins in them and that kind of thing. So that's been going really well. We also added meal replacement shakes. We have that as well. Rolled ice cream. I don't know if you ever had rolled ice cream.
Rolled ice cream.
We
love rolled ice cream.
You'll have to roll some up before you go.
Yes, yes, for sure.
But we have that. We also have Italian ice and you know, just a little bit of everything, and that is geared obviously some toward the adults, but a lot of the kids like to come in again from the lake. You know, bring your kids down. We have that. We have a great city park. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh yes.
Just over the hill. There's a big splash pad. Very unusual for a small town.
Yeah, that's new. I think 2 or 3 years old, maybe.
About 3 years old.
3 years old. They've got you guys really nice stage up there too, where you can do concerts. Hopefully, you know, when the world gets back to normal.
We're going to use it a lot this summer.
Yes.
We have a lot of events going on down there this summer.
That would be great. So, where can they find those events?
We should have them up on our chamber website very soon. Our website is discoverlivingston.com. It's a fairly new website. It is still kind of under construction, but the majority of the things, you know, are there already. And hopefully our events will be up very soon. We're trying to finalize a few things on the Live in Livingston series that we're doing this summer. It's a concert series, and we've got some great people lined up to play at it. And trying to get titles for our movie nights. And as soon as we do, we'll get all that updated on the website.
That'll be awesome, because I know people are itching to get out.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
They really are.
We also are planning to revive our Pioneer Day event. that
Mhm.
we used to have here. We had for 20-something years, and then it just sort of mysteriously stopped because there was nobody to take it over and do it.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was back in the 90s, so we're going to revitalize
That'd be
that.
awesome.
That'll be 2022. We had it on the agenda for last year,
Yeah.
for 2020, and of course all that went south when COVID came along and stopped everything. We couldn't put it together this year because we're still on the cusp of what's happening with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But we feel pretty comfortable that next year we'll be able to have it. It draws a tremendous number of people to town. We also have an event, Halloween, that if you've not been to Halloween, you need to come see that.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be on October 30th this year, and it's typically from like 11 to 3, something along those lines. So more details will be coming out about that. And then we're also, I've confirmed that we're going to do some haunted walking tours on the square this year
That'll be
in
that'll be
October.
a lot
So
of fun.
we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And October is still a great month
Mhm.
in Tennessee. You know,
Yeah.
most of the time October's pretty cold, and we still have our cold days, but we still rent houseboats in October. And
Yeah.
you know, we own Eastport Marina, and really October is, if you want a pretty cheap vacation, I mean that's the time to do it. That's
Really
the
good.
cheapest rate,
Right.
and you can. That's more of a last minute one that you can book too, because we don't book up as quick. Where right now we're almost sold out. But
Not
October's
bad at all.
still a great month. You know, the evenings are still nice, and
Absolutely.
and it's not as crowded.
Leaves are beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were talking this year about for the fall. You know, there are a lot of people that come from Nashville, travel through from other destinations that are going to the Smoky Mountains to look at the leaves in the fall. And most people don't think about the fact they could get off about here and do a great leaf drive and
Oh,
leaf
yes.
tour up toward you at Eastport and around the lake.
Mhm.
You know, it could be just an incredible little day trip for a lot of people, or
Yeah.
overnight trip, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Overnight accommodations. We've got some Airbnbs now here on the square.
We do have some really good ones, a few houses around the area
yeah.
also. They're all on the Airbnb website. So there's lots of lodging opportunities in town as well.
Oh yeah. I know there's a couple great ones in you know, overlooking the square,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right there.
Right.
I forget what those ones are called.
The
I
lofts.
should- Yes, the
Livingston
lofts.
lofts.
Yes. Yeah, and me and my wife actually stayed there. We stayed in one the night of our wedding. We stayed at Clover House, I think is what it was called.
Clover
You know, it was-
Penthouse, yeah.
Clover Penthouse. I mean, it was a
Right.
beautiful place. So there's tons of things to do in Livingston. You know, even if you just want a night away if you're local.
Right.
You know, 30, 45 minutes away if you want to get away for a night. You know,
Yeah.
it's a great
Well,
place to explore.
We've become a pretty nice destination for
Mhm.
people from
Think so,
Cookeville,
too.
from Nashville. We you know, have a lot of activities, a lot of things going on. We're really proud of the fact that we just received the National Main Street designation.
Yes, we are.
Which is huge for any small town.
Oh yeah.
That brings with it a lot of potential change and a lot of upgrades and things that can happen. And so, you know, as it stands right now, everything's looking really good for this next year.
Yes.
We know the lake, y'all have to be very busy because I think when COVID came, there's not a single side-by-side ATV available anywhere in the world to buy. There's no boats available.
No.
I mean, it's just
Kayaks are hard to find.
Exactly.
It's one of those places you can go and you don't have to see people. You could go isolate on the lake and keep that distance away from you. You know, it's growing up, my family called boating FFF. It was forced family fun.
Yeah.
Because we all went out on a boat together, which we loved it.
Yeah.
You know, we get all the friends together, and you know, my parents liked it because they got to hang out with us. You know,
Right.
we weren't off
Sure.
trying to do other things.
Right.
We wanted to go out on the boat with them.
Right.
So being on the lake, it's a family activity that everybody
Yeah.
loves.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it.
Do you have anything that you want to add? Anything about your store?
Yeah, just come and see us. You kind of have to see it for yourself. I could talk about it
Yeah.
all day long and show pictures of it, but until you see the pictures on the wall and the actual things that are here, it's kind of hard to imagine. The antique store, it's, you know, something of its own. I mean, anything that you might want. In fact, for Easter eggs, we couldn't find any Easter eggs at any of the stores because they were all sold out.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife said, I know where some are, so she comes here to the antique store and we found Easter eggs here. So, so if you need it, we probably have it over here or can get it for you pretty quick. But yeah, we're thriving, and the lake is a big help to us to thrive, and we appreciate people coming from the lake, and I think they'll enjoy it once they get here. But that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, we want to thank Gene and Shannon for coming on the show, and we've had a great time talking. We'll show a couple of clips of Gene explaining a couple of the old pictures, and be sure that we put those in here, and then we'll show a couple clips of what the place looks like. And thanks again for watching another episode of the Dale Hollow Lake podcast, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
You.
The Robert's Law, the original spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this little bitty nothing. I did not know that.
That was good. Be sure you check out the 1806 General Store on the square at Livingston. As you can see, the food does not disappoint. You have to try their club sandwich and their loaded teas. The food, the atmosphere, and the stories are memories you won't forget. After you get done there, head by the Livingston Central Park for some entertainment or to work off those calories. We had a blast at the 1806 General Store, and we know you will too. Thank you to Gene and Shannon for allowing us to come hang out. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. We will see you next week here on the Dale Hollow Lake podcast.